All right. Here we go. This week's episode, Week 6 recap. Under further review. Loving the title. That's what we're going to call this thing. Under further review. We're just going to go overhead all of Week 6. We're going to review what's going on, all the games. Talk about some of the users. Talk about some of the stats. This episode brought to you by Rockstar Energy Drink. You thirsty? You don't got no energy? You got kids? Drink a Rockstar. Listen, hit me up. Follow me on Twitter. You see what it is. At Coach Aponte. All these episodes, I'm going to put them right onto YouTube right after and on my game so they may live forever. YouTube at Coach Aponte. It's the same thing. Hit me with a like. Hit me with a subscribe. Let's get into it. Week 6. Listen, we're past the quarter-way mark. Okay? So we're a lot of division matchups. A lot of divisions are going to start to shake up. Let's get into it. Atlanta, Detroit, hot Atlanta. J-Dub coming off a big victory against the New Orleans Saints in the game of the week. They won that one 17-14. He's still riding high here. Atlanta's offense, 31-20. Throw for about 286. Rush for 46. I mean, there's not really a big disparity in yards here between the teams. But in a non-J-Dub fashion, right, not really what he does, he wins the turnover battle in this game. Turns it over twice. Detroit Lions turn over 3 times, and they go ahead. He owns the time of possession, so it looks like J-Dub's actually playing real football now, not just throw it up. Let's dig a little more into the stats over here, okay? I did just say upon further review. So here we go. Deshaun Watson, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions at 62%. That's good winning football there. Like I said, I'd like to go ahead and get less on the turnovers, but some quarterbacks, when you throw it so much, they're going to throw picks. As long as he's above, you'd love for that to be about 3-1, so 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. 3-2 is a little dicey. We'll see how this continues for J-Dub, but he's riding high right now. Matt Stone, Detroit. He's still shaky. He's at a little under 300, but the biggest difference, he throws 3 interceptions, and that's going to cost him. Throws the ball 35 times in the air. Uh-oh. We got 35 passes here from Detroit, 27. 14 rushes from Atlanta, and 8 from the Lions. Let's just double check and make sure here. Please don't. Oh, man. We got one, boys. We got what I said under further review. What's it supposed to be? It's supposed to be upon further review. My apologies. My apologies, Asian. I'm working on it. First game that we go over and we look at. And the Detroit Lions throw the ball 30-plus times. Only run it 8. Detroit, you are upon further review, have a violation coming your way. Unbelievable. Let's move forward here. Getting to the passing stats now. Look at the Falcons. Ridley with a huge day, 8 receptions for 164. Now that Pitts, who's such a huge target, he's a 99 X factor. He's 6'6", and the biggest joke about this is, hey, he's always throwing Pitts fades. Well, not anymore. He's using Ridley. Devontae Adams, though, doesn't get any action. Very interesting. Is Devontae just getting too old? He's washed up. Calvin Ridley's the guy that's taken over. But Calvin Ridley with a huge day. Kyle Pitts being the secondary guy and pitching in at 5 for 100 and a touchdown. That's still huge. And the running back, couple catches. Let's look at the Lions. Hawkinson, 3 receptions for 82 and a touchdown. Michael Thomas, the free agent acquisition, with 6 for 63. Running back gets involved. I mean, he gets a lot of people involved in the pass game, which is great. But this is going to hurt. Violation incoming. Tragic. Not only do you lose the game, but now a violation's coming. So, I said under again. So, here we go. Unfortunately, Detroit loses that game 31-20. Violation incoming. Let's move on to the next one. Indianapolis Colts, smooth versus beast, the Shelbys. And the Shelbys get waxed. Wow. 27-7. 8 rushing yards for the LA Shelbys. Wow. And this is Smooth, who, once again, not really an offensive juggernaut at all. He's a defensive guy, and he'll try to take some things away, and then he'll use offense to dink and dunk, move down the field, and he'll score an opportunity, right? He's not going to manufacture scores. He's going to score off of opportunities. He forces 3 turnovers. This looks like a horrible job here by the LA Shelbys. Time of possession is equal, so let's take a look here. Justin Herbert, just after we go ahead and say, hey man, what a great job, you're doing so great, he goes back to old Justin Herbert, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, being 19-33 for 57%. Meanwhile, Jeremy Cook, they know he's not that good. They know that Jeremy Cook's not that great. But no touchdowns, 1 interception, he only throws 1 pick. It doesn't hurt the team enough. Not as bad as Herbert hurt the team. Jonathan Taylor, 15 for 133. A great job rushing by Smooth. And Shelby, 11 rushes for 10 yards. This is not good for the LA Shelbys. The LA Shelbys are a Shelby team. That's what they are. That's what they do. For Smooth to take him away in the run game and for them to not have any other answer is going to provide a blueprint for everybody else. Just take Shelby away. Force Herbert to throw the ball. He's not going to be able to do it. You get a win. In the receiving game, Chargers, Keenan Allen, 8 receptions for 85. The other tight end, another tight end, Braxton Edmonds, 4 for 53. Shelby helps in the pass game a little bit. He's got more passing yards or reception yards than he did than rushing yards. And Stephon Diggs with 2 for 38. But there's just not enough offense here. That's not it. Like, even 8 for 85, 4 for 53, none of these are explosive. There's no explosive player on this team because Shelby himself is not explosive. He's a running back. So what are you going to do? You're going to throw him halfback wheels all day? You can't really do that. Where is Stephon Diggs downfield? Keenan Allen's not a downfield guy. He doesn't have anybody to stretch the field. Everyone's condensing the box now. The LA Shelby's in big trouble moving forward. Believe that. Colts offense, Michael Pittman Jr., 3 for 47. Ferguson, a really good job getting the receivers involved. Once again, nobody stretching it downfield. The longest pass is 27 yards. Okay? Everything's off of opportunities. So the Indianapolis Colts win a defensive game, completely shut down the LA Shelbys, 27-7. Big win for Smooth. That doesn't get him anywhere close to winning the division, but if he can string some things together, 7 seed, maybe. Especially having a win over the Shelbys, who also might be fighting for that 7 seed later on down the line. The Shelbys falling apart over here, losing a game that they probably shouldn't if they want to consider themselves a division winner and a playoff contender. New York Giants and the Chicago Bears. Keep the bus running, but gas is too expensive. The Giants jump out early to a 14-3 lead in the first quarter. They just keep going back and forth, but it's not enough. The Giants 35-30 win the game. They were up going into the fourth quarter, 35-23, so a 12-point game, 2 possession. They played enough defense, able to go ahead and manipulate the clock and the ball and hold on to it and secure the victory. 423 in the air, and in a surprising thing, 400 yards in the air from the Bears. So I don't know if this is the Bears are starting to, they're watching the show. Maybe the Bears are watching the show and they say, man, I gotta find a way for Justin Fields to get involved. Every week, Aponte comes out here and he tells me, Fields is no good. I should trade Fields. I can't throw the ball. Guys are stopping my run. He's going to hit those for 400. Or is it that the Giants' defense just allowed Justin Fields, who couldn't hit water if he was in the middle of the ocean in a boat, throw for 400 yards on him. I don't know. We're going to see. 2 turnovers apiece. Let's go to the stats here. Justin Fields has a career day. This is the best day he's ever had. And it's off of the Giants defense. This is concerning if you're the Giants, because you probably shouldn't be doing this, but the Giants get the win, and everyone's allowed one bad day on defense. 415 in the air, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception at 61%. Pretty good. And let's look at Joe Burrows. He's got to be feeling good about Joe Burrow now. He got rid of Danny Dimes. He's got Joe Burrow. The Giants have a little energy in their franchise. They got a little juice. Listen, they got all the way to the NFC Championship, asterisks, and they feel really good about themselves, and they want to get back there, possibly get to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, 433 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions at 63%. What a great job by the Giants in the pass game. Rushing wise, both guys go ahead. They try to run the ball. Bears get the better of it, averaging over 5 yards a carry, while the Giants just 2.5. Tough for them to run the ball, but why run it when you've got Burrow out there just dialing it up? Here we go. Mooney with 4 for 209, 2 touchdowns. Here's the deep threat, right? We talk about Mooney. Mooney the other week had nothing. Mooney this whole season, not really been doing any good. Their best receiver's been Cole Kmet in 10-yard hitches and drags. Mooney explodes deep. 4 for 209, averaging over 50 yards a reception, 2 touchdowns. Sean Eason pitches in with 4. Cole Kmet, what a really good job by the Bears receiving core stepping up. We talked about this in the previous shows. Cole Kmet cannot be your guy. Who else is going to do it? And a great job for Mooney. Giants, on the other hand, as always getting his receivers involved. Slayton, 8 for 114. D-Hop, 3 for 110. And Ingram, 6 for 62 with a touchdown. You got the running back in there, 3 for 105. 72 yards was his longest one. So a lot of that was after the catch, but very tough. You've got a lot of receptions here for the receivers. You got 6 for the tight end. This is a tough offense to stop now, especially with a quarterback like Joe Burrows, who can deal it significantly better than Danny Dimes. 35-30. The Giants win to keep pace in the NFC East, which you got to win your out of division stuff too, man. It's a tough division. The Bears, they're still bad. They're still down in the pooper, man. They're still down. This is tough. The Bears have never been able to recover. They lose a tight one here, 1-score game, but this could be another. It is going to be another bad season for the Chicago Bears. Let's go to the next one. The Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Division game. Both teams were coming in at 4-1. And the Carolina Panthers, playing at home, grab all the momentum early in the game. They never let go of it. 14-0 is how they jump off in the game. They dominate the entire game offensively and defensively. Tampa Bay with only 8 first downs. They really couldn't get a lot of things going. And really a lot of that credit is going to go to Mac Jones on offense. Just dealing the ball. I don't think he had an incompletion all game. And to the defensive line. Hassan Reddick was amazing. I don't really look at a lot of defensive stuff, you know what I mean? But Hassan Reddick was out of control. We'll go to it in a second. So all the arrows, Carolina's way. And in this game, which is crazy, no turnovers. No turnovers here. Red zone efficiency, we're in there 4 times. This all touchdowns. And the time of possession is crazy. It was equal. So usually you get this kind of game, and the winning team has got the time of possession by a lot. You know, the losing teams turned the ball over 5 times. This was the cleanest 35-3 game you're ever going to see. No turnovers. It was just a lot of 3-and-outs because the Carolina defense was just all over the place. So let's take a look here. Mac Jones, 271 in the air, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. His longest for 59 yards. 14 of 14. It never hit the carpet. Mac Jones was dealing. And he threw a ton of different routes. Underneath, over top, to the corner, comeback, whatever you want to call it. He threw a lot of different routes, 14 of 14. Jordan Love has another off day, only 113 in the air, gets sacked 3 times, and 8 of 15 for 53 yards. Rushing wise, Tampa Bay has an amazing front seven. Vitavia, White, a couple other guys, Pierce, inside that defense that make it really tough to run the football, especially interior. So they got great interior presence in Tampa with some speed on the outside. So McCaffrey has 14 for 40, 2 touchdowns, but they were very close to the, in the red zone or in the end zone. Ronald Jones, though, doesn't go anywhere. 13 of 27, so 2 yards. So not really a lot of rushing occurred in that game that was substantial. Let's go ahead and let's go to the passing. So first we'll go to the Buccaneers. Godwin, the deep threat. Everyone knows he's the deep threat. 4 catches for 64. Tampa does a really good job. They had Tre'Davious White on him, Miles Morales, Dante Jackson, each one of these guys with 95 speed or better. O.J. Howard, the tight end, he only has 2 catches. Nobody else kicks in. Where's Duvernay? Where's Ayuk? It was a tough one here for Tampa. For the Panthers, though, Tommy Tremble, 5 catches for 119, 2 touchdowns. Luke Cage, the rookie, 5 for 78. So rookie having a really good rookie campaign. Tremble continuing on his path. McCaffrey had 1 ball for 33. Moore and Anderson, they chip in, but they weren't really super significant in this game. It was a lot of Tremble, a lot of Cage. Great game for them. Let's go to the one stat that no one's really going to see, but this was really the game. The Panthers, and we're going to go to the TFLs. Hassan Reddick had 5 tackles for loss. We had 8 total as a team, and Hassan Reddick had 3 sacks. Hassan Reddick completely dominated that game at the line of scrimmage. And that's the reason why pretty much Tampa was always in a 2nd and long, 3rd and long. And this game, we were able to get off the field. So, tough one for Tampa, but it only counts as 1 game. Carolina going into the bye week, I think Tampa's doing the same. 35-3. Once again, the division will run through Carolina. Should be able to win the division. If Carolina doesn't win the division, that would be because something catastrophic is going to happen. All right. 35-3, moving on. Jacksonville Jaguars, San Francisco 49ers. Too much offense here for Jacksonville. And the defense finds its rhythm too, only giving up less than 200 yards. They only turned the ball over once, but to hold them to less than 200 yards, and this is a San Francisco offense that has Kittle and Debo and some of these other guys that, Jerry Rice Jr. These are guys that have been putting up insane numbers, even in losses with Trey Lance. This game wasn't able to do it. There's too much speed out there in Jacksonville. 267 on the ground for Jacksonville and 220 in the air. What great balance. Jacksonville 40-17, and in all fairness, they probably shut it down after the 3rd quarter, being up 37 to 14. They probably shut it down. They let some other kids get some play, let the mommies in the stands be really happy. So appreciate you guys in the chat, man. Doc, I know you're in here. Asian, Malibu, everybody else watching. I appreciate you guys. Zach Wilson, great day. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 10 of 12. And the ball doesn't really hit the carpet either way, but the difference is 5 sacks. 5 sacks on Trey Lance. That pressure defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If they don't get you to turn the ball over, they're gonna get to you. They're gonna sack you. So that pressure from Jacksonville coming all day. They knew they could feast on a still young Trey Lance. 5 sacks right there. He only throws for 145, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And now we're going to get to the run game. Travis Etienne, 17 for 252. My goodness. Miles Sanders, 16 for 76. I mean, that's good 4.5, but you give up 252 to Etienne, you're done. Plus, you've got Zach Wilson dealing. You're not winning that game. You're going to have to beat him on offense, and he couldn't do it. 49ers, George Kittle, 5 for 51, his only bright spot. Everybody else barely chips in. They were too busy getting pressed on the line of scrimmage, couldn't beat man press. Right? Deebo Samuel, 1 catch. Jay Rice Jr.'s best guy, 1 catch. Completely taken out of the game. Jaguars, though, DJ Chark, back to his old self. Greg Beast, 4 for 64 with a touchdown. After a really tough game, the one period he had a couple drops. Receiver coach working with him all week. We'll see if he's still on the block or not. But right now, DJ Chark is the guy. You get him going with NTN. You have a deep threat in Chark, medium threat in Beast, an outstanding run game, and a quarterback that can put it anywhere with a defense that flies around. 40-17. You're going to see Jacksonville once again. We're going to get to standings. They own the division. No one's going to stop them but them. Jacksonville they're over here fighting for a 1 seed, 2 seed, something like that. San Francisco, they're probably fighting for a top 15 draft pick in next year's NFL draft. Buffalo, New England. Is Boogie back? Is Josh Allen back? Is Boogie back? Let's see. 38-31. A tough first half. Buffalo takes the lead 10-7 going into the third quarter. And then all of a sudden, everyone forgets how to play defense in the second half. And Buffalo gets the better of that too, outscoring New England 28-24 to win the game 38-31. Let's go to the passing. I mean, this was a passing game. Rush yards, barely got anything going. Both of these guys over 400 yards of offense. The majority of it in the air. Let's check it out. Josh Allen is back, and this guy's the game changer. 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Gets sacked 6 times, but 82% completion. You're throwing at 82%, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, you're winning a lot of games. We'd like to see what those sacks maybe come down a little bit, whether he's in the pocket too long, whether he's not identifying man blitzes, free rushers, maybe get that ball, throw it away a little bit, maybe get the ball a little bit quicker, audible to something else. 6 sacks is quite a bit, but Josh Allen can eat that, get to 2nd and 15, and then still throw a dart for 40 yards. Jermichael Peck, the rookie. And the rookie's having a decent season, but they're just not manifesting in enough wins. 385, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 16 to 24, 66%. So, right now, what you're seeing is you're seeing Jermichael Peck. He's probably trying to play for Rookie of the Year, but they're not going to be playing for any playoff hopes. They're not going to be playing for anything significant. They're trying to see how far they can drop in the draft to get this kid some help. Rushing wise, both teams rushed for 11 yards. Elliott, 11 of 40. Like I said, I always talk about, hey man, let's get Elliott some more. Like I said, it's hard when Josh Allen is dealing so well, but he's not always going to be dealing that well. So you need to make sure that you know when to pull off a Josh and get Elliott more involved. If a defense is giving you the pass all day, by all means take it, but you got to know when to lean on a very, very good running back. Rookie Rashad Patterson, 11 for 55, averages 5 a clip. Kind of the same thing. They both just wanted to air it out on each other. Bills offense, A.J. Wallace, 5 for 158, 5 for 128 for Knox. I mean, 5 different guys catch a touchdown. That's hard to stop. What do you do with that? Molds a receiver with a touchdown. Gabriel Davis, Ezekiel Elliott. So you got 7 different guys catching a ball, 5 different guys catching a touchdown. This Bills offense, I think, now that Josh Allen is back, is going to hopefully be able to figure this out. We'd like to see what's going on with their defense because, honestly, the Bills could win shootouts. That's fine, but at some point, there's going to be some different games where you're going to have to rely on that defense and that run game. Let's go to the Patriots. Here we go. 5 for Julio. 1 bomb for John Ross, 74, right? John Ross, one of the fastest guys in the game, just not good at anything else. A.J. Brown with 2. The running back, 4 for 29. We're going to touch on running backs probably next week as we get closer to that. As we get closer to that week 9 deadline about the running backs and the catches. We'll dig into that later on, but for now, Julio leads the way with 5 for 169 and 2 touchdowns. Problem is, Julio is in his 14th year. Your best receiver, your guy, is literally in a wheelchair pregame. He doesn't even do pregame warm-ups. He's in a wheelchair. This is your guy. You're going to have to figure something else out. Someone else is going to have to be the receiver. My vote's for A.J. Brown, and then you got to draft somebody else or pick somebody else in free agency. I would find a way to get A.J. Brown more involved, and Julio Jones, find a way to wheel him out the door. Final score, 38-31. Buffalo wins it. I think what they get on a roll here, what was supposed to be Miami's division, they were the ones who won it. Buffalo said, no, no, no. My division. I like it. I like the aggression. A lot of football left, though. We'll see how it plays out. Uh-oh. We got to talk about this one. Kansas City 41. Washington 10. So this just screams user identity to me. And what I mean is Kansas City is an offensive team. Ocho is a bomb you, throw it kind of guy. Okay? He's going to score points. Or he's going to throw 5 to 6 picks and lose by 50. That's what he does. But when he is offensively on it, bro, he is shredding. He's throwing it. And with the weapons that Kansas City has, with Mahomes at quarterback, they are clearly putting up tons of points. Washington has a thing we talk about. First 1 to 13 wins. Okay? And that's because Washington can't score. They don't have a good offense. They got rid of Scary Terry. They got rid of Gibson. Their offense is not good. They're a defensive team. They need to be in a defensive game. If they get into a shootout, the chances are with Tua, with no weapons, they're going to lose. I don't know who's going to win this game, but 41-10 screams, uh-oh, red flags here for Washington. Because there are some teams in the NFC that can shoot out. Okay? Carolina with a potent offense. The Packers have a potent offense. Okay? We can't even count the Cardinals anymore. Okay? The Giants with Burrow, potent offense. So is Washington going to be able to stop these? They're going to have to stop them with defense because they're not going to be able to keep pace with a really bad offense. Let's take a look. Patty Mahomes, 382, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception, 15 of 21, so 71%. Tua, on the other hand, is still at 53%. Tua is in his 5th year in the league. I think this is like his 4th year being the quarterback of Washington. And he just is not, he's never been the guy. He is mid-tier, low-tier is Tua, 53%. That's just tough. Rushing the ball, John Buck gets some running going on, but when you're up by so much so quick, the Kansas City Chiefs can give you some runs because they're worried about getting beat deep. Washington runs for a little bit, but it's not significant enough. Receiving wise, Kobe McMoney, 6 for 166, 4 touchdowns. Wow. Tyreek Hill, 2 for 91 and a touchdown. Such a deep threat. Benjamin McMoney. I mean, clearly these guys are brothers. Playing together on the same team, so a lot of cohesion here with the receivers. They go ahead, 4 touchdowns in a blowout. The problem is the blowout rule is like 24 now. So even if, let's say, it was 34-10, that's 24. The extra touchdown that he got is still good. So, we're talking about, we don't want people to be stacking people up when it's already 40-0. You don't need to be scoring no more. But we've learned in this league, I've learned the hard way. Even when you're up by 24, guys are still playing. And I've unfortunately given up leads, and I've lost a game or two because I shut it down. Can't be shutting it down around this joint. Everybody too good. Let's go to Washington. Washington, Mark Andrews, 3 for 62. Um, Asher Adams, 455. The running back Smash Williams leads with 5 receptions. But none of these guys get in the end zone. Once again, where's the deep threat? There's no deep threat here. You had Scary Terry. You had Scary Terry. He's gone now. Nobody is scared of the Washington receiving core. Nobody's scared of Smash Williams in the backfield. John Buck, I guess, is the best guy, but you had Gibson, you had some other guys. Now that they're gone, this offense is just really, really bad. So 41-10, Kansas City working their way up the AFC West. Washington needs to figure out how they're going to be able to score points, or that first one to 13 thing is going to really come back to bite them later. Cardinals, Seahawks, 31-28. They go into the fourth quarter tied up. Arizona outscores them 17-14 to win it by 3 in the end. Let's take a look. Look at the offense here by Arizona. 557 yards of offense. They dominate on the ground. They dominate in the air. 22 first downs to 6 first downs. Oh my goodness. And that's with Arizona turning the ball over 4 times. So let's just go ahead and talk about this for a second. You have a good offense. It was great with Kyler Murray. It's good now. You're still turning the ball over 4 times. So it's a reckless offense. It's not a final machine right now. Seattle turns it over 3 times. Let's look at this time of possession. 25 minutes to 7. So Seattle barely had the ball. That's a tough one. Seattle, and still somehow, they didn't have the ball. They can't run it. They can't throw it. They lose by 3. Something there doesn't add up. Usually you have these kind of statistics, and the team that has all these arrows and all the time possession, they're winning the game 50 to 3. This is a weird one. Let's go to the stats here. Russell Wilson throws for 250, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 9 of 21. So he's able to get 21 passes off, right? 42%. And maybe that's the thing. You're 9 of 21, right? You're 42%. Maybe you got to find a way to run the ball a little bit more. You'll get some more clock on your side. You'll be able to breathe a little bit, maybe think a little bit more. And instead of losing by 3, maybe you're able to find a way to win the game. Travis Ward. And here's the problem. For all the Travis Ward's so good, he's a bum. This guy's throwing 4 picks. So you're winning the game, but it ain't because of Travis Ward. He's throwing 4 interceptions. I think our definition of good is just maybe different. So 26 of 42, 61%. I mean, you're going to throw for a ton of yards if you throw it 42 times. But the 4 interceptions, that means every 10 passes he's throwing a pick. I want everybody to let that sink in for a second. Every 10 passes, this dude's throwing an interception to the other team. It's a turnover. You're not a playoff team. You're not a good team. That's not good. You can't play quarterback for me doing that. Let's look at the rushing here. Silas, best game of the year. 27 rushes for 235, 2 touchdowns. Eye-popping. Here we go. Here we go again. We're going to say that this is a quarterback scramble. That doesn't count. And the Seattle Seahawks, fresh off of a violation for not running the ball enough. And let's make sure that we had enough passing here. And I understand it. Hey, we didn't have the ball much. Throws it 21 times. 21 times and rushes it 5 times. So the rule is, listen, if you got over 25 plus plays, you're 25 or above, we need some disparity here. So that means you should be rushing 10 times, throwing 15. And we're not trying to say everybody 50-50. We're just trying to say we're getting away from every 8 passes to 2 rushes. We're not a mutt league. We're not a mutt league. So I think at this point, this guy either don't care, because it's 31-28. You can't even say, let's look at the box score here. You can't even say it was 7, 14, 7, 14, 14 in the third. You can't say, well, I was behind by a lot. That's what happened. I was down by 21 there, Malibu. I was down by 21, Estrada, and that's why I had to throw it. Nah, bro. It was a tight game the entire time. Every time you had the ball, whenever you got it, it was a 7-point game. So you clearly had the opportunity to run the ball, mix it up, try to be 50-50. The truth is, you're not trying to do it. You don't care enough. Upon further review, Seahawks open. Let's go to the receiving stats here. Cardinals, Bartell, 10 for 131. Boone coming over with the rookie, 7 for 114. What a great job here, getting the tight end and the receiving core involved. This is what it should look like. Silas Evans, 3 for 21. And maybe this is what's going on. Because now the Cardinals can't just be check down kings with Silas Evans, right? We'll call them the check down kings, just like the LA Shelbys. Because you can't rely on that and you've got to stretch the ball downfield a little bit more, interceptions are happening. More interceptions happen. Plus, you got a guy like Ward who's playing quarterback who's not as good. So, Cardinals go ahead. They do a good job. They spread out to receivers. The 4 interceptions are going to be a problem moving forward, of course. Seahawks, Disley, 4 for 120. Metcalf, DK Metcalf, 1 for 73. Right? And I guess in this one, Metcalf isn't eating. Right? He did the one gif of Metcalf eating. The guy had 3 catches. Well, this is Metcalf starving. You had 1 for 73 and you don't throw to him again. You don't get him the ball again? You got the same catches as Dwayne Eskridge? Not okay. Not all right. Seahawks lose this one 31-28. But to be honest, you're going to lose a lot more than just this game. God bless. Moving on. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Oh, man. Wow. Hashtag change the view. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he did. We'll never know because I'm never going to watch a Pittsburgh stream the rest of my life. Okay? Debo's defense, predicated on turnovers, only gets 1. And the Pittsburgh Steelers outscore Cincinnati 30-24 to win the game. This is a big win for the Steelers, but I don't think it's going to matter in the grand scheme of things because they're going to end up finishing probably 4th. But it's a big win for them. Great confidence. Great job. This is a catastrophic loss for Cincinnati. This is catastrophic because you just lost a division game to someone not called Baltimore, to someone not called Cleveland. If you can't beat the Steelers, you're in big trouble going against the Browns and the Ravens. Both guys they need every single win too for their playoff hopes. This is a tough one for Cincinnati. They dropped this one 30-24. Let's take a look and let's dig deeper in here. Scott Hall, great job from Penn State. 342, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. 16 of 23, 69%. What a great job by him. Scott Hall has a great game, but he's got to keep that going. And it's just something he's not doing. But this is a game, if he can play well at the quarterback position, Steelers can rattle off maybe a few more wins. David Cummings. And listen, Cincinnati just doesn't value quarterbacks. They don't value them. 143 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, but the guy's at 48%, so he's missing more than he's connecting. This is a problem for the Bengals. It's giving the Steelers more opportunity or other teams more opportunity. It's a problem. Moving forward with the run game, look at Cincinnati, 19 of 135. What a great job in the run game for Cincinnati. It's a shame that the quarterback is so inconsistent. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about some of these other guys where, Carolina, for example. CMC is a good running back threat. He can run the ball. Everybody knows it. Mac Jones is just consistent. He can dish the ball here or there. He doesn't miss a lot. Travis Etienne, great run threat. Zach Wilson doesn't miss much. When you have a good run game, you need that quarterback that doesn't necessarily need to be throwing 98 throw power downfield every play, but you need the threat of that and you need the accuracy to go ahead and continue to move these drives, to move the chains, and to hit these wide open guys that are going to be open because they're committed to your run. Cummings can have guys wide open, and he's still going to miss them, and that's really costing Cincinnati. Pittsburgh, decent job in the run. Philip Lindsay, a little bit older now. He gets the majority of the carries, 8 for 73, 9 yards a carry. Great job by him. Receiving wise, the Bengals. Nyheim Hines, the running back, 5 for 44. He leads the way. Corin Neighbors, like a good neighbor, Corin is there. 4 for 36. He's still building on his season. Probably should have got him involved a little bit more. But, the Steelers, now that everybody watches the show, they all watch the show. Everyone's now tuned into the league. They weren't sure before. It's so hard to watch every game. How do I know? Now you listen to me, you get the recap, and you can understand, I see what this guy's trying to do. Corin Neighbors is the best threat for the Bengals. The Steelers do a good job of containing him, 4 for 36, and Kupp, while he's good, is just not that guy anymore. He's 8 years into the league. He's a little bit slower. He's not explosive. Where's the explosive threat? So, right, we want to get into the red zone, but I don't think Debo was there that often. Unfortunately, not enough here. Steelers, on the other hand, Dwayne Peoples, right? 2 for 152. Averaging so much. Everything's a bomb to Peoples. 2 touchdowns. Irv Smith Jr., great job. Look at the tight end position, picking up 10 catches for 140 yards. That's a great job by them. Claypool with a couple. I mean, great job by the Steelers and what they did. They win it 30-24. Bengals suffer a huge loss in the division that's really going to hurt them for the playoffs. Oh, boy, let's talk about this one. Las Vegas Raiders, 45, Tennessee 7. Tennessee is just a dumpster fire. They've got the rookie quarterback. The running back, I believe, is Edwards-Helaire. He's a free agent. I mean, ever since Derrick Henry left, Tennessee's been in trouble. And you can see this here. 71 yards on the ground, 43 passing yards. 43 passing yards. This game was over in the first half, 38-7. This would have been an uglier game had the Las Vegas Raiders kept all their starters in and stayed on the gas. But they don't. They peel off. They win the game. 5 turnovers for Tennessee. Let's look at it. Ryan Leaf, 237, 4 touchdowns, 13 of 14. This guy is pretty much passing in t-shirt and shorts. Has a great day. While Chad Edwards, the rookie, 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions at 41%. The Tennessee Titans are trying their best to force Chad Edwards into being a top passer, and it's not working. They're going to have to find something else to do, whether that be get another running back, trade for a receiver, because right now what they're trying to do with Chad Edwards, they're just trying to force it to him. They're just trying to say, hey, man, win it with your arm, and he can't do it. Not consistently, anyway. Aaron Jones, 21 for 97 for a touchdown. Edwards-Helaire averages 3 a carry. Edwards on the scramble gets a couple, but there's no real rush threat here in Tennessee. The pass game is no good. They are struggling big time. Receiving wise, look at Henry Ruggs, 7 for 114, 2 touchdowns, and everybody else. He's got 6 receivers getting catches here. Everybody getting a little something here. With the main guy being Henry Ruggs, as he should be. Henry Ruggs is the guy, right? If you can't cover Ruggs, you're in big trouble. Now, a lot of your attention goes there. And when you put the attention there and he starts to get covered, which he wasn't this game, but if he starts to get covered, then you can rely on Fuller and Waller, MVS, some of these guys out of the backfield. Titans. Marquise Brown, 3 for 74. Brandon Cooks, and here's really where it probably fell off. Oldenburg, who is Tennessee's go-to, 1 catch for 16 yards. So the key here is, if you're playing Tennessee, shut down Oldenburg, force him to throw it to other receivers. He's going to throw interceptions. You're going to win the game. That's a tough one. 45-7 for Vegas. Vegas working on that record to have a shot at winning the AFC West crown. Tennessee, nowhere near in the picture of the AFC South Division crown. They're in the top 15 for draft picks. Oof. Philly and Denver, let's just say lesson learned. Make sure you guys put a time by your game. Don't just say, hey, at the end of my dinner is when I'll play. At the end of this game is when I'll play. That's not a time. That's an idea. Yeah, I'll play after the game. When after the game? 5 minutes after the game? An hour after the game? The next morning? Like what? Like this is a lesson learned. Okay. Get your games in. Now listen. If you're at the game, I understand. But here's what I do, and I'm different. I actually pause the live TV because I hate commercials. I'll play the game, and then when I'm done playing the game an hour later, I get to fast forward through halftime. I get to fast forward through commercials. I get to watch the game. I don't have to sit there and wait and watch freaking Febreze commercials. I could care less. Lesson learned, guys. But Philly, who probably would have won the game anyway, right, wins the fair sim. So in my mind, no harm, no foul. I don't think Denver would have won this game anyway. Eagles probably would have won it. They win the fair sim. No harm, no foul. Let it go. Eagles win it 27-23. Let's talk about it. 27-13. The Minnesota Vikings win the rematch versus the Green Bay Packers. Let's talk about it. Green Bay Packers, they believe they get the quarterback for the rest of this season, possibly the cycle. We'll see how he feels after this season. This is kind of still Danny Dimes' tryout portion. This guy is supposed to help be an explosive offense, throw the throws that need to be done with more consistency. Green Bay gets shut out for 3 quarters. It's 21-0 going into the fourth quarter. Minnesota, all they have to do is not mess it up. So let's take a look here. 2 turnovers. Difference is Minnesota can run the ball far better than Green Bay could, and Green Bay is a running team. So does Danny Dimes change the dynamic of Green Bay? Does Green Bay now think that they're a passing team? I don't think so. I think Green Bay is a running team. They've got a good O-line. They've got a good running back. And the quarterback, Danny Dimes, just needs to throw to opportunity, right? Safety down in the box. Everybody dropping back. Throw to opportunity. But for Danny Dimes to think he's the guy, I don't know. Here we go. Let's take a look. Kellen Mond. Oof. And in Green Bay, the coaches they're gonna come out and they're gonna tell you firsthand. Listen, they just got out coached. They got out coached. The Vikings, a great organization, very smart. They lost the first matchup. They come back the second matchup. They make a few adjustments, and that's part of the game. That's what makes this game so great. Very few games can you just go into and expect to win. And even if you expect to win, sometimes you lose. Watch the Bengals versus Steelers matchup. Kellen Mond, 165 in the air, one touchdown, 1 interception, 10 of 14, 71%, 10 of 14. That's a good job. That's a very Kellen Mond day, especially with the run game intact. Daniel Jones, 15 of 30 at 50%. 50%. That's a tough one. They brought in Danny Dimes to be a little bit more accurate. 50% is not good. He does throw 2 interceptions. That's a tough one. So this is also still the growing pains of Danny Dimes of figuring out where he's at. Dalvin Cook, 3 for 103. Thad Castle gets the majority of the rushes. Kamara, 15 for 77, averaging 5 a clip. When you're averaging 5 a clip, but you're down 21-0. That's a tough one. He's got to throw at a certain point. So I think Green Bay did the best they could do in trying to run the ball, have a little bit of balance. When you're down, 14-0, then 21-0, at some point, Kamara, now we've got to get you involved in the pass game. And let's go to receiving. Here we go. Kenny Golladay. 6 catches for 133 and a touchdown. 4 for 67 for the tight end. Kamara with a light day. 2 for 34. Gates Jr. 3 for 18, not anything significant. But the big one here, the red flag, if you will, 0 receptions for Mike Jump Ball Evans. Um, Usually Doc is really good at least peeling off one of these bad boys, either for a big gain or a touchdown. Because Mike Evans, when you're trying to stop his run game, is going to be one-on-one somewhere, and when he's one-on-one and the guy's 6'5", you just have to be able to honor that. And usually you don't have any corners out there that are 6'6". So that's a red flag there. Minnesota does a good job playing defense, allowing Galladay to maybe be the breadwinner this game to stifle Mike Evans. And Galladay has a good day, but it's just not enough. Vikings, on the other hand, Dalvin Cook, explosive plays. He was 3 for 103 in the rush game, 2 for 77 in the pass game. And then you have Justin Jefferson, 5 for 48. Not a deep explosive threat, but he's a chain mover, at least in this game. 5 for 48, averages 9 a catch. And once again, you look at all the arrows. A lot of the arrows are going Green Bay's way, except for the rushing. 13 first downs. The Vikings only had 6 first downs. This comes down to the incompletions from Danny Dimes at 50%, and this comes down to the turnovers, the interceptions thrown by Danny Dimes. Fourth down conversions are going to go ahead and extend the drive. They had 3 of them. They dominate the time of possession by 7 minutes. It comes down to incompletions and interceptions because everything else was pretty much Green Bay's way. And I imagine those interceptions came at probably a big cost, which led to some Minnesota points. 27-13, Minnesota wins this one. In my mind, now that they've split the division, this is going to come down a lot to these out-of-division matchups because they're both going to beat the Bears. They're both going to beat the Lions, most likely. And I could definitely see this game coming down, or this division coming down to who dropped a out-of-division game that they shouldn't have dropped. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I think Minnesota, great job here. 27-13. Dalvin Cook, very explosive in the run game, in the pass game. Doesn't get a lot of touches anymore because it's Thad Castle's team. But when he does, he can go. Ravens and Browns. Another huge game. Cleveland 34. Baltimore 27. So Cleveland jumps on top of Baltimore 26-7 to end the first half. But once again, you can't cruise on anybody because Baltimore comes back and outscores them 20-8 in the second half, but it's just not enough. So Cleveland wins at 34-27. Let's talk about it here. You've got 84 rushing yards for the Browns. Not really a lot for Chubb. Chubb's usually going to be over that 100 yards, but the Ravens and Browns have played each other 1,000 times. They know exactly what each other's trying to do. 383 in the air. The big story here: 21 first downs versus 10 for the Ravens. Ravens don't have the ball as much. Cleveland does. They're able to dictate the tempo. They do turn the ball over twice, but the Ravens turn over 3 times. Like I said, you go to the time of possession, 22 minutes to 10. So Ravens, with Lamar Jackson and some of their weapons, are able to score at a moment's notice, but it's not enough. You're going to have to find a way to get these guys off the field. Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson both throw for quite a bit of yards. 400 for Baker, 300 for Lamar, but they both equal their touchdown interceptions. So while they both do a great job in trying to propel their team to victory, they also try to throw the game away. Both of them at a high percentage, 75% for Cleveland, 65% for the Ravens. But that extra turnover, the turnovers are what kill you. Chubb, 18-81, averages 4.5. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. Usually we're just used to seeing Chubb have a little bit more per average, right? He's probably averaging about 6 to 7 yards a carry for the season. But Barkley, 10 for 35. And, this is one of those, you're down 26-7 at the half, but he does come back. He's going to need more than 10 carries. Lamar Jackson can't do everything. I mean, he can, but, you know, 13 to 20, 10 rushes. So your proportion is pretty good. Time of possession, though. And how do you control time of possession? It's by running the football. It's by easy completions, right? That's how you control it. Even that out a little bit. Njoku, 7 for 153. Big day from him. The receiving core of Schwartz and Beckham, they just feast out there against a Baltimore defense that they just can't cover right now, I guess. Chubb, minimal, 2 for 49. A lot of guys out here putting in work for Cleveland. Ravens, Jamar Chase, 4 for 133. Mecole Hardman, 4 for 85. Rod Tidwell, Saquon Barkley. They've got a few guys that can. I mean, it's a really impressive receiving core. Barkley he does have more reception yards than he has rushing yards. So Barkley is that dual threat, but you don't own the time of possession. You turn the ball over too many times with Lamar. You can't do that against the Cleveland Browns. Final score 34-27. Cleveland clearly in control for the division because they haven't dropped any other game. The Rams and New Orleans. The New Orleans Saints 33-13. The game was 30-6 going into the fourth quarter. A useless touchdown at the end by New Orleans. New Orleans is in a complete spiral. The organization, people are yelling in the locker room at each other. This is not good. The Rams don't exactly have a huge explosive offensive day, but they're very consistent. No turnovers. New Orleans turns it over twice. Let's look at it. Dak Prescott, 234 in the air, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. 10 of 13. He only throws the ball 13 times. 10 of 13. That's a great job. Great quarterback play. We'd love to see it here. On the opposite side of that, Kyler Murray just doesn't have the same weapons he had in Arizona. The quarterback coach in New Orleans, we're starting to think he doesn't know what he's talking about. So Kyler Murray is very rattled. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He takes 5 sacks. Throws at a better completion percentage of 72%. But it's just not enough. Too many sacks, too many interceptions here. Kyler Murray struggling. Gibson, another acquisition from New Orleans. They had Kamara. They got away from him. They acquired Antonio Gibson. He gets 12 rushes for 50. Not his fault. They were down so much so early that Kyler had to try to force things and throw the ball. It's unfortunate. Gibson had a great day early in the season against the Carolina Panthers for over 150 yards, and he's just never been the same since. Kyler Murray, 2 rushes for 9 yards. And so we don't know if these are out-of-the-pocket scrambles, are these designed read options, but where is the threat from Kyler Murray's legs? If Kyler Murray doesn't have a threat of his legs running the ball and extending plays and getting first downs, then all you have is a 5'10 quarterback who should probably be playing baseball. That's all you got. Use his legs, use his athleticism within the rules, okay, to run read option, to get him out of the pocket, right? Don't take sacks. You're taking too many sacks. If you're getting sacks, that means there's pressure, and if there's pressure, you can run. It's literally just that simple. So 2 rushes for 9 yards is just not enough. Kyler Murray, he's already called Oakland, seeing if the Athletics are hiring. But you got a 5'10 quarterback who's not running. That's not good. Find a way to get him to run. Let's go into the receiving here. Mikey Estrada. The last game, I don't think he had any catches. The Rams organization force feeds Estrada 7 catches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dan Chisna 1, Corum with 2. Nobody else does anything. Mikey Estrada wins the day for the Rams off of Dak Prescott's arm. Let's talk about the Saints. Perry Atkins. Who is this? Perry Atkins? What am I looking at? 8 catches for 113. Elijah Moore, 2 for 59. What happened to Francis Lisby? Francis Lisby, 3 for 38. Look at all these guys. Look, all these guys are young. Perry Atkins, 1 year in the league. Elijah Moore, 4th year. Lisby, 3rd year. Glover, 3rd year. Right? Like, these are all young receivers. Lisby, I know, is a superstar. 3 catches for 38? What's that, a hitch? What happened to he's the man? Throw it deep. There's just no threat here. There's no consistency for Lisby. Perry Atkins gets the majority of the catches. We don't even know who this guy is. New superstar receiver as of last night. But nobody cares. It doesn't make so we get a superstar dev to a guy who's a bum and you lose by a ton. Wins over devs. Simple. Perry Atkins, 8 for 113. It doesn't matter if he's a superstar. I mean, someone just give him the freaking X Factor now. I did read the chat. I don't really care. Lisby, no, it doesn't matter. The point is, you force-fed a guy who's a bum. The other guy, Lisby, he's turned out to be a bum. Elijah Moore is a trade acquisition. Bum. Glover, 3 years in the league. Bum. Quarterback, he's not using his legs. Bum. New Orleans Saints, upon further review, in the pooper. Not good. They lose the game 33-13. Something's got to happen. And maybe what's going to happen is now that we're stacking devs of receivers over here, which, by the way, everyone has amazing receivers. I got 2 X Factors over here. Everyone's got amazing receivers here in Season 5. Maybe we'll see an explosion of offense now from New Orleans. That's what we'd like to see. Kyler Murray, using the right way, extend some plays. We're ready for it. We're all here for it. 33-13, Rams win the game. So that's your recap of every game, but let's go into the standings. Things are starting to shape out now. We're really starting to get the shape out now, right? See what's going on here. Let's take a look. So first off, let's just go to the NFL. Let's look at who has scored the most points up to date, okay? And a couple teams have played their 7th game, so they probably, unfortunately shouldn't be in here. But Raiders at 253, Bills 247, the Browns, the Rams, the Chiefs, all these guys, explosive offenses. Who scored the least? The Titans at the least. 77 points in 6 games. Lord have mercy. Lord have 77, but just fire the entire staff. The Lions, 124 points in 6 games. The Dolphins, 127. Steelers, the Packers, and here's the crazy one. The Packers they are one of the least scoring offenses in all of FML at 135 points, but they've given up only 130, so they're still 4-2. That offense is not really good. They need that defense to carry them. The Saints in their 7th game at 136, so they'll probably get passed by the Packers, they'll get passed by the Steelers, they'll get passed by the Dolphins, the Saints are going to become the 2nd lowest scoring team in FML probably after this week when everybody's on the same page as far as points played per game. Let's look at who's given up the most points in the league. The New England Patriots giving up 240, the Bears, the Saints. So the Saints, they've played a 7th game, though, so other people are going to pass them still. Other people are going to pass them here. But the Saints are one of the lowest offenses and one of the lowest scoring offenses and one of the defenses that gives up the most points per game. That's not exactly the formula that you want. You got the Bills right behind them. You got the Texans, the 49ers, the Broncos. That's really tough. Let's talk about the most stingiest defense. The stingiest. The Browns at 122 points. They've only allowed 122. The football team with a great defense at 125, but we understand what it is with them. Panthers at 129. Once again, the Packers at 130. And here you come Vegas, the Vikings. a lot of good teams. The Colts here, probably the worst team at 2-4, but they've only up 137. Let's get into these divisions. The AFC North, the Browns, 6-0, undefeated, coming off their Super Bowl, still hungry. The majority of that team stayed intact. The Bengals at 4-2, but a huge loss in the division. They've got to find a way to go ahead and beat the Ravens or Browns or split that series in order to stay at 2. You're not going to get number 1. Browns are going to finish first. So you got to find a way to get number 2 because number 3 might not make the playoffs. Steelers and Ravens tied at 3 apiece, 3-3. But we understand and we all know where that's going to finish. Ravens will move up. Steelers will stay where they are, which is last. AFC South. Oh, and it's because of the points right now. That's what it is. AFC South. Jaguars at 4-2. They're already 2 games above their next person in their division. The Colts at 2-4. The Texans 2-4. The Titans have scored 77 points. They're 1-5. This is the Jaguars' division to win. Nobody else is going to come close. Maybe the Texans or Colts, if they can figure it out, can get to the 7th seed. But at this point, with the Bengals playing well and some of the other teams, I don't know if they will. AFC East. The Bills have reclaimed, after an 0-3 start, have won 4 in a row. They have peeled off 4 in a row to take first place. The Jets, vastly improved, 3-3. Their offense is humming right now. It is a great day to be a New York Jets fan because they have seen immediate improvement off of great moves made in the offseason. The Dolphins, one of the biggest disappointments in FML. It's really, this is the thing. You want to be considered a top guy. You get a taste of the playoffs. You win a division, and then you come right back and fall with 1-4. This puts you back in the okay. This puts you in the mid-tier, lower mid-tier, because there's no way that you go from winning a division to being 1-4. Patriots at 1-6. They're just a train wreck with a quarterback who's a rookie, and they're trying to feed him. They're trying to have him be the future. They are losing some tight games, but 1-6 isn't going to get it done. They're fighting for Rookie of the Year is what they're fighting for. Dolphins are done. I'm calling it. Bills, organization, Boogie is the head coach. We apologize for our slander. You still a bum. You wouldn't probably win any other division, but you're going to win the AFC East. So good job. AFC West. Here we go. The Las Vegas Raiders. And things are starting to shape out just like how we thought it was going to shape out. You had the Broncos that started at 2-0, and you had everybody else who started off, Chiefs were 0-2, Raiders were 1-2, and it was like, oh, Broncos. No, Broncos right where they belong, in the pooper. They're not good enough. This is the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Chargers. The Chargers, though, just losing to the Colts horribly is going to show that the Chiefs and Raiders, who I believe already have wins over the Chargers, are going to go ahead and they're going to leapfrog them. Chargers at best fighting for a 7th seed. There's going to be a few guys fighting for a 7th seed here, but it's Raiders and Chiefs are going to fight this out for the division in the AFC West. My vote is still Raiders. I think Raiders are the ones that are going to win this division, but Chiefs are going to make it really, really hard. NFC North. The Packers at 4-2, Vikings at 3-3. Even with that win from the Vikings, the Packers still hold the lead in total games won, and they split it. Now, the big difference is Packers also lost a game to the Lions. So in a 13-10 game early in the season, is that a game that comes back to bite them later on around that week 16, week 17? It could be. But at the end of the day, the Vikings need to string off some more wins. Lions at 2-4. They're unfortunately inconsistent. 2-4. They're trying, but they win 2, they lose 2, they lose 2. This is tough for them. And the Bears, they just listen. Offensively, they're not good. They need to make some moves. They haven't made them. The only thing that I could see right now in the future is a top 3 draft pick, and they've got to get away with the best player because this team has a lot of holes. NFC South. Big win for the Panthers over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Um, Now that the Panthers have won, they're 5-1. They've solidified that this is their division still. They're going to win the division. They've peeled off 5 in a row. The Falcons have won the last 2. Buccaneers started off hot at 4-0, and they've dropped 2. And now the Saints 0-7. So the thing with the Saints is they're playing for a top draft pick, but they don't own it. It's the Arizona Cardinals that own their draft pick. So this season's going to be all about development. This season's going to be all about putting themselves in a better place scheme-wise. And I think if you were the Saints, you would be hiring and firing offensive coordinators almost every week to figure out what's going to fit you better for next season. And if you got to take some lumps to find that, then it is what it is. Buccaneers and Falcons game just got a lot more interesting. We were talking about how Buccaneers are going to finish second division, no problem. But the Falcons out here, who are still giving up more points than they score, as are the Buccaneers, they're both giving up more points than they score. This game just became very important. Can't wait to see when they play. It's going to be great. Maybe the winner of this game is the one that gets into the playoffs. Loser of the game is just going to have a really, really tough time in circus. NFC East. The Eagles, off of their fair sim victory, but they 80% were going to win that game versus Denver anyway. So this isn't like, oh, Eagles got a force win versus Mac and the Cleveland Browns. Oh, Eagles got a force win versus the Ravens, where, he would have had to play at a higher level. Eagles would have won this game anyway. So Eagles at 5-1. They're doing well. Giants with Danny Dimes at 4-2. Football team at 4-2, coming off a tough loss. But that loss doesn't affect them in their division standings as far as winning the division. Because they got to win these division games. And the Cowboys, non-existent, 2-3. Nobody's concerned about the Cowboys. Billy Baker just, he's just there. Tough sledding for the Cowboys moving forward. Eagles in a spot to win the division. We'll see what happens. NFC West. The 49ers at 2-4, Seahawks at 2-4, Cardinals at 2-4, Rams standalone at 5-1. They've got a 3-game lead already in the division, and we're 6 weeks in. I don't see the Rams losing this division now, because still they're on a 4th place schedule. That 4th place schedule gives them a lot of easier games. Okay, Kuzi has a 1st place schedule. Seahawks and Niners, they both have 7th place schedules. Nobody cares. But the schedule talk between the Rams and the Cardinals is real. One guy has a 1st place. The other one guy has a 4th place. The Rams made a lot of moves to improve their team. The Cardinals made a lot of moves to decrease the value of their team. And you can see that right now. The Rams are just clearly in the driver's seat. They were a team that was 2-15, I believe. They've already over doubled their win total. They also will be over the 500 mark come the end of week 9. Malibu, you know what it is. I'll see you soon. So there we go. Rams in the lead. They're going to win the NFC West. They got a 3-game lead. Looking at the top of the stats right now, we take a little peek every now and then. We take a peek. Let's go ahead and just get to the top of the NFL here. You got Mahomes, 23-6. The rookie from New England's playing great. He's throwing for him with 300 yards a clip here, but they're 1-6. So he's just going for Rookie of the Year. Travis Ward, 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and your team is 2-4. So we can't even talk about you. Baker Mayfield having another great season. He's doing 18-5. Harold Baskett looks good as a rookie, but once again, your team is like 1-5. We can't talk about you. So a lot of guys are throwing for a lot of yards, but they're making too many mistakes. Yes, the Rams' point difference differential is crazy, but it's also because it's a fourth place schedule playing a lot of bums. We'll see what happens when the Rams play some higher level talent, and if that point differential can stay around that 20 to 30 points. Run game, Blake Corum just been killing it for the Rams, averaging over 7.5 a carry. That is insane, 7.5. Aaron Jones from Vegas, Shelby still here top 5 in rushing yards. He's in third, but it's just, they're 4-2, and if he doesn't have a good game, they're in big trouble. NTN in fourth, Ezekiel Elliott still in fifth. That's a really good job. We'll see if that continues with Josh Allen dealing. Receiving wise, we look at the yards. It's DJ Chark out here. Henry Ruggs, Chase, Harrison, Schwartz, all speedsters, next level guys. But let's look at what everybody wants to see is the receptions. Let's just get down and see who the first running back is. First running back it's Patterson off of New England, 29. Like I said, we're going to touch on this probably around week 8, right before week 9, to give you everybody a better idea of where all the danger's at. So, we're not really in that mid-season yet. Listen, we're looking at the stats here. Browns are still killing everybody up top. They're winning at 82%. They've got the most wins. Panthers, Vikings, Cardinals are dropping rapidly. Let's go to the least amount. Seahawks at 4-14, the Lions 7-14, and some of these. Listen, you go to winning percentage. Let's just do that. Let's go to winning percentage. Oh, Seahawks at 222, Steelers at 22. All these guys at 22%. Saints at 17-58. So Seahawks, they're not a good team. The Steelers, they've struggled all cycle. The Saints, unfortunately, have gotten worse. The Jets have improved, so this is climbing for them. That's hard to see, right? But they're climbing, and the Broncos, they're not good either. So a lot of these guys are struggling. In the best, up top. Even the Packers, right? They haven't played as many games as everybody else, but they're at 71% winning in the regular season. Vikings over here at 75, 80%, 82%. Lot of top guys up top, a lot of bottom guys in the bottom. The numbers don't lie, the stats don't lie, the information don't lie. So listen, I appreciate all you guys watching. Week 7 coming up. Rule violations coming up. Seahawks, you're on notice. I don't remember who the other team was. Might have been, I don't even remember. But you on notice. Oh, Detroit. You on notice. Follow the rules. Have a great time. Listen, you like what you saw. You enjoyed the content. Maybe you didn't enjoy all of it. Maybe I'm the one who goosed you up. Maybe I'm the one who let you down. You thought you were great. I told you you're not. My fault. Follow me anyway. Hit me with a subscribe anyway. I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate your time. I'm out of here. I'll see you.